Hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in today. My name is William Betzelberger. I am the host and founder of the Resilient Masculinity podcast and movement. Thank you for tuning in today and thank you for listening. If this is your first time listening or you're not sure what Resilient Masculinity is, it's a community and a movement that I created to encourage, to inspire, and to equip men with tools, conversations, inspiration, and knowledge to become more self-reliant, more capable, more productive, and more resilient so that they can lead their families, their communities, their businesses, and their churches in strength, in safety, and in stability. So if that's interesting to you or something you like to get behind, then give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, share, and help us get our message out. Because I think ultimately the best way to enact this change is to inspire and encourage men to lead their families, their businesses, their communities, and churches through their convictions and through their actions. So if that's interesting to you, then all more power to you, and thank you for being our allies and our brothers in arms. With that being said, we're going to just jump right into it today. Today's conversation is going to be about taking risks. And what do I mean by that? Specifically, today we're going to talk about starting something new. So yesterday, or today, I think it actually was today, I posted, it was a shot of a couple of photos of my setup for my first ever podcast episode. For those who don't know, or who are watching this at a different date, I've only been doing this podcast since January 1st of 2022. Today is February 10, 2022, so I've only been doing this for a month and 10 days. And this is a new segment. This is a new chapter, a new adventure. And I did this because I believe this is a productive, reaching, and engaging platform and medium to get our message across, to get the message of masculinity that is resilient and powerful back into the public sphere, be it through podcasting or through YouTube. It is a functional platform and a functional medium. That's why I started this, because I want to get that message out to the most amount of people possible, to the most amount of men possible, so they can be encouraged and they can be inspired and they can inspire and encourage other men to do the same things. I'm not looking at a very high-tech setup right now. I've got a camera that is on my computer. It's just the little mobile webcam that comes with my laptop. This is I think $30 microphone, and this is an old set of headphones I have had for like 4 or 5 years. This is not a high-tech setup, and that's okay. This podcast, as you can tell, probably the audio quality may not be as great as other podcasts. I know for sure the video quality is not as high-tech as it could be, and it will probably change and get better as we grow and as we put more investment into this podcast. However, just because I don't have the best equipment or the best knowledge, or frankly, not even the best presence on a camera. I may be good at public speaking, but I do not do well in front of a camera. I look at myself too much, and I focus way too much on what all is around me. That makes for bad videos, but that didn't stop me from taking this risk. That didn't stop me from creating Resilient Masculinity back in September of 2021. Because I believe in the message, and I believe in the power of voices using the mediums that they have, be it through Facebook, through podcasts, through YouTube, through whatever other mediums are out there. One day you'll probably just have something that broadcasts it straight into your ear through Bluetooth. who knows? I believe in it. And so I took that risk. I took that chance. Maybe it's something else for you. My family growing up, we did a lot of urban homesteading. We were homeschooled, so we had a lot of home-based activities. One of my favorites, or two of my favorites, honestly, was beekeeping and raising chickens. And we didn't always have the best setup for them. We built our own beehives. We built our own chicken coop. We jerry-rigged a lot of things. Not everything was, pristine and perfect and, Instagram worthy. But it was our setup, and it worked. Even now, I live in a one-bed, one-bath apartment with my wife and my dog. And there's things about this place I'm not 100% a fan of. These ugly walls, for example, I don't like the texture. And it's very cheap plaster, right? So you can't drill into these. You can't hook anything without scraping it up, right? It's just not pretty. It's not home. It's not homey. And, it's not always the best setup, and that's okay. What is something today that you can start that maybe may not be the best, but you can start? My wife loves to scrapbook. We've got currently over on this side of the apartment, you guys can't see it right now, but there's about 100 photos just kind of spread out all over the place. And it's her project. I've got radio projects. I've got podcast projects that we've started. And it's not always the best, the greatest, the shiniest. But we try. And it's fun. And it's okay. It's okay to take risks. When investing, the higher the risk, the higher the reward potential. And that's why you see a lot of people putting major, basically, bets on cryptocurrency and, meme coins like Shiba Inu and Dogecoin. And we saw a short squeeze in the stock market with GameStop stock. I can't ever say that fast or accurately. Those were risks people were willing to take. And for some of them, it paid off really well. And for others, it didn't. But what are some fears or preconceptions you have, predetermined ideas and notions that play around in your head? For example, for this, one of my biggest fears is ultimately my videos and my content just gets drowned out by the sheer volume of content out there on YouTube and on Facebook and other mediums. And this goes nowhere, and my time is, for lack of a better word, wasted. But is it wasted if someone is encouraged to lead his family well? Is the time I put into this a waste if a man leads his family in a way that provides safety to them, that provides stability to them, and is done in a way that is throughout an act of service? If that happens, then I can't call this a waste. If that happens, this is not a waste. That's what this is meant to encourage. So what's a risk you're willing to take? Go ahead and step out. You don't have to invest a lot of money. I've invested $30 into this. Everything else I already had. I have a webcam on my computer. I already had these headphones. I didn't invest much. I don't plan to make much right now, at least not at this current rate. But that's not the point. Not everything has to be a major investment, be it time or money or a mixture of both, right? You may not have the expertise, and that's okay. It's okay to dabble in things. I've got a hobby called amateur radio, or some other people know it as ham radio. I'm not very tech inclined, actually. And I have a lot of experience yet to be had in that field. but I'm learning. And as the name implies, amateur, I'm not a professional. It's not my main job. And it's something I do for fun, something I provide a service for the county. I'm a volunteer, and we do provide, emergency communications and augment communications for community events. But that's something I do both as a hobby and as an active service. But I'm not a professional. That's not my background. And actually, for a younger person, for a younger millennial or Gen Z, I kind of fall in that weird gap there. I'm not very tech inclined, like at all. I don't know how the internet works to the greatest extent. I'm not a programmer or a game developer or anything like that, nor do I have the desire to be one. There are people whose minds work great for that, and that's not how mine is set up. I am much more simple. But it allows me still to expand my knowledge, to do so in a way that allows me to experiment in a environment that I get encouragement and feedback, both positive and negative, and that's good. I need that. I need to know, hey, you know what? That frequency doesn't travel as far as this one, so try this one. Or use that frequency for repeater inputs, so set it to something else. Cool, good, I can learn. But what is something you want to do? Maybe it's starting a small business, maybe it's starting a podcast, maybe it's starting a small baking business. Maybe you want a scrapbook. Maybe you want to pick up model cars or model airplanes or tinker around on an app. Whatever it is, don't let your fear, your preconceived notions, and your anxiety hold you back. I'm not saying it'll be maybe the next greatest thing, but it allows you to grow and experience, and without the vulnerability aspect, you can't grow. So be vulnerable in that sense. I'm not necessarily saying, oh, you have to be vulnerable and everything, and men should be overly emotional or overly vulnerable just for the sake of it. But I am saying it's okay to not be perfect at everything. It's okay. You have to be willing to suck. You have to be willing to stink at something and not do good in order to learn and become better and ultimately become great at something. I love history. I love studying history. And I spent hours and hours and hours and days and days and days studying history. And I got some things wrong, but it's through repetitive study and repetitive use of my books and my audio, and I watched videos on, and I watched Ken Burns documentaries on a loop. And I eventually got really good at knowing history. So, if anyone has any need for a history tutor, let me know. I might know a guy. But be willing to be vulnerable. Be willing to put yourself out there and grow. Be willing to grow. Have a teachable spirit. Be willing to be wrong. And that's okay. It's okay to say, oh, that wasn't the right move to make. Okay. Noted. Fix, if there's a problem with what you did, fix that problem. And then now you know for next time. And I do that at work all the time. One of my responsibilities at work is to lead and manage, lead a team and manage projects, if you will. And I don't always make the right calls. There are things that, despite my best discretion, I get wrong. And it's okay for me to be like, oh, that wasn't the right choice. Noted. Fix any problems that came up from that. Maybe there's shortage of labor on this project, or I missed a shipment, so okay, try to get that on the next truck like ASAP. And after that, learn. And don't make that same mistake again. Like, that's how you learn, that's how you grow. And it's okay to be wrong. don't stay wrong, fix the wrong you've done, and then grow and learn and re-implement later your change strategy. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for listening. If this was helpful, if this was encouraging, please subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe if you're listening to this on a podcast, and share it on the socials, be it Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever the kids are doing these days. Share this message so that it gets out to the men in your life, because men are called to lead in safety, provide safety, stability, and service. And if this is the kind of content that they need to be encouraged to do that, please share. And we'll get the message out to more men. And as we encourage more men and equip more men, and as they lead better, our lives, our societies, our families, our churches, our businesses, and the communities we live in will flourish and grow and become more productive, more safe, more stable. And we will be in a society and a culture that serves more. So, again, thank you for listening, and I will see you next time. Until then, take action and become the men you are called to be.